Hello everyone and welcome once again to Swede Rolls. I'm Chris.
I'm Toby.
I'm Martin.
And it's Andreas again.
Yeah, and I'm tired. Andreas, we heard in the last week's episode about success or failure, and Martin is coming back after 3 whole weeks.
The first guest.
Yeah, the best guest. Or was he?
Ooh, who knows?
Jury's still out on that. He was the best guest in the first episode.
No, it's me.
No, Martin was in the first episode.
Yeah, but I'm the best guest now.
Maybe.
Let's just not go into that.
All right. Anyway.
Let's not pick favorites here.
Today's topic is going to be character creation. We will be talking about that. And since we've already met both of you, we're not going to start talking about your role-playing experiences of when you started. But I would like to know, how long do you think a character creation session should be, Martin?
I think the session should really actually take quite a little while. I don't think it should go too fast. I think you need a little bit of time to think. I prefer that you send out some kind of idea or thought or theme or something for the characters before character creation.
As a GM?
Yeah, as a GM. The GM and the group together kind of sends out some beginning thoughts. Then you collect a group and you spend, I would say, as much time as a general gaming event. So anything from 3 to 5 hours, maybe more. And this, I would say, probably builds the most of the character, even if I personally think that almost all of the character needs a little extra hand from the game master one-on-one.
Yeah.
And maybe a bit retake on the character later on in the chronicle.
Yeah, sometimes they just don't work. You know.
Yeah, you gotta feel them out or just deepen them or redirect them.
And Andreas, what do you feel? How long do you think a good character creation session should take? How long did it take for you to make Andraste your dragon? No, not Andraste.
That's a wrong game.
Yeah, that's the wrong dragon. That is the wrong dragon.
My LARP character.
Yes, your LARP character.
Araste took like a couple of hours because I was thinking, okay, I got tips on like just be a regular human because it's the easiest if you're a new LARPer. But I didn't want to be like an ordinary human. That's just boring.
Yeah.
So, okay, I like dragons. I didn't know if there were any dragons in that LARP. Let's do like a dragon guardian. And I wrote some stuff. And it was the first time I wrote a character background. Yeah. And I went to my first LARP. And then I retconned everything. And now Araste is the one that is now. And I like it. And I need to update it now before I send my...
Application,
thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, but it gets updated every time.
Yeah, isn't that the case though? You're never really done with your character creation.
In LARP, no. In role-playing games, you have your stats, and that's that. And you can rise the stats, but it's always the same background.
Yeah, I mean, Martin, you're looking at me like you want to say something?
Well, I would say that as generally, this is just my own opinion. As LARP characters are so much more flatter and so much simpler, I think that it's just... so much more less creation.
Why do you have that opinion of LARP characters?
Well, because you really don't have the time or the opportunity to really go into the depth of playing as you do have in.
No, you mean with other people? You can't.
Yeah, because you're generally you spend a lot more time just kind of getting your kind of like base character sent over to people through physical, and so that's a kind of different thing. So I mean that
you can't show them your sheet, be like, this is who I am.
No, you can't really talk, and as you're generally in a live action role playing, you meet a lot of. It's just a greater audience. You generally, because if you do tabletop role playing games, or say you're from 4 to 6 people. After just a few times, you really know the other people's characters. But as in LARPing, I feel that when I LARP, I do a lot of it is really to just kind of again and again reaffirming my basic qualities against other people. Of course, you can have your own little group and really focus on that, and of course, then you can have exactly the same amount of depth in your character. So it's not that I'm saying that you can't have it. No. It's just that I feel generally my best versions of live action role playing is that just kind of the meeting new people, and that it feels for me quite pointless to have a really, really deep character because they're never going to see any of it.
This is a valid observation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is.
Toby, you've made quite a few characters.
A
right?
lot of them.
Yeah. So, how long is your group? You've been around. You've been role playing for 12 years, was it?
12, 15 years.
Yeah.
Like that.
So, how long does it take for you guys to make characters?
It entirely depends on the person. In the beginning, we always sat as a group
Yeah.
to create characters. But then, as we grew up, we either sat by the computer and talked to each other then and discussed what we would like to play and if someone would like to take different roles or anything like that.
Yeah.
But then we started doing Eon.
Oh,
And then everything changed. Because then...
the Fire Nation attacked.
Basically.
Yeah.
Everything got shitfest.
Right?
So
in a good or a bad way.
yeah, well, we didn't really talk to each other as much on making the characters.
Mm-hmm.
It was more like we roll our characters and see what happens
Yeah,
in the beginning. We could have entirely different characters that shouldn't be near each other.
That's always fun for the GM.
Exactly. Then the GM has to find a way to put these weird ass people together that don't fit in any setting whatsoever. And that becomes a little bit weird, but I personally put down stats and put all down the dots, stats, skills, or whatever you use for a system. And then as I go along, I see more and more of a person that the character becomes.
Oh yeah, based on the stats.
Exactly. I cannot build a character from scratch by text.
Okay.
So for me, it's really important to have a
skeleton.
baseline. Yes,
Yeah.
a skeleton which I fill in, and then
Yeah.
he gets his qualities and everything like that.
But I mean, in LARPs, you never. I mean, you can go as a group, right? But a lot of times, you didn't go as a group the first time, right, Andreas?
When I started my first time, I went with 2 friends.
Okay.
But then we didn't get along so good. They were late sleepers. I was early sleeper. So I went up and went to the town and got some drinks and got drunk, fake drunk.
Oh yeah, of course.
But I met some people and they become good friends. And my groups have changed over the years. Now, last time I was with Chaos Cult.
Yeah.
And now I'm stuck.
Yeah, you like
Yeah,
them.
I like
Good
them.
dynamic.
Yeah.
But I mean, you
You can't really leave, can you?
Yeah, no. Once you go chaos, you can't leave. Well, I mean, you can, but that would be
I mean, we tattooed at the Chaos Star.
Oof. Wow, you're fast.
I'm marked.
Wow. But I mean, in LARPs, you interact with so many different people. There's no NPCs. Everyone's a PC. Everyone's a player character.
But we have NPCs.
Yes, but I guess you have. But there's still people.
There are more player characters than non-player characters. Yeah.
It's not like they disappear when you leave them.
About-
They're more like a bit scripted player characters.
Yeah,
They have a
like-
role to fill.
My dragon met I was in a ritual to summon a monster to get the amulets, and that one killed me because that was the rules that game master had given the player that played that NPC.
Yeah.
You're immune to everything. It's not even my fire powers couldn't hurt him, and now your HP's down to 0. I was fuck.
Let's have a little callback to previous episode. How did that make you feel? Did that feel good?
About, oh shit, did that just happen?
Yeah.
Because I had the little troll girl and her mother.
Oh, they were there?
Yeah, I was went out and my head was sideways at them, so I saw her get tears.
yeah,
about,
she's very young,
Oh,
yeah.
don't cry, please don't cry, because I was going to start crying then.
Yeah.
I was trying to
There's a very young girl playing a troll in the LARP.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
But I mean, just picking up this question here about the scripted characters in live action role playing. I tend to have those in tabletop games.
Oh yeah,
as well.
you do.
Yeah, both as a game master and also as a player, I like to. I think it could be very helpful and fun to play with a kind of little hint or objective from the game master. Maybe kind of take it to the side.
Do you mean guest players or actual players, other people that you tell you have to do this?
Yeah, guest players. That's a different thing. But of course, it's kind of the same. But I mean, just the regular players, when you give them kind of an off assignment to kind of make the group drift in a certain way, or I'm just realized that it's quite an interesting similarity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it is so different because all the NPCs in a role-playing game are played by the GM or guest players.
Yeah.
But in a LARP, everyone is a different person, right?
That, of course, makes the LARP,
Like you said, a bit shallow.
yeah, the LARP, but in the other way, the NPCs, if we call them that,
Yeah.
you see other people as NPCs. In a LARP, they are of course a lot more richer because they're played by different people.
Oh yeah, with
Yeah.
different
And the game master for a tabletop game really have to be a great game master to display the same width of characters.
Yeah.
So
It's hard to be the GM, that's for sure. But Andreas, you've changed topics here a little bit. This is the second time you're joining a campaign that's already started, sort of. We haven't started playing Changeling yet.
No.
But you're coming in a little bit late. When you started playing Vampire, you joined a group that's been active for about a year, right?
Yeah.
What kind of expectations did you have coming in?
Well, like, it's not like strangers because I know
No,
all
you
of
know-
you,
you knew, yeah,
from
yeah.
LARPs. The system, I think I played Vampire the Masquerade, but that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
It's fun to try different role-playing games because everything is different. I played just a plain World of Darkness, and played Mage and Werewolf and all. But I think it was going to be fun, like being a vampire session or campaign because they're vampires and they don't sparkle. Damn Twilight.
Yeah, it's fun, but wasn't it like, Toby, have you ever gotten into a game late? Like everyone's already established their relationships and
I think it's happened one or twice, but then it's more like I come in with a new character, then it's like, okay, what is my role in this? How
to
do
fit
I
into
fit
the whole? Yeah.
Exactly. How do I fit in this campaign?
Yeah.
How do I fit into this group? As I go along with, like, they found me in a tavern or whatever, I start
Well,
like
classic, yeah.
Exactly. It happened a few times or something like that. I just try to go ahead and roll along with, like, coming up with new stories, backgrounds for the character to fit a little bit more with the
It's very
group.
touchy-feely, right?
What?
Very touchy-feely, like
Yeah,
figuring
exactly.
the others out.
Trying to feel the
Trying to
characters.
feel up other people.
Yes, exactly. Feel up the other characters. No, but I try to introducing myself, and this is my backstory, or rather, I have the backstory. But if they ask me, I can always repeat or come up with new things to speak about. So I've never had a real problem in coming in a campaign that's already started.
Yeah. But Martin, for example, you've been GMing your game for quite a long time, and there's almost never a full party, right?
no, it's very, very unusual. So I think we kind of together we combated this problem because it is a problem getting just
And
kind
we're
of
adults, right? We have stuff.
Yeah, sure, and the story is sometimes missing kind of vital
Oh, yeah.
people. So we really tried to build over the years. We successfully tried to build more and more thematically cohesive gaming groups.
So they all have a similar purpose, sort of.
Yeah, the short answer is yes, or that the characters in themselves are built always knowing that they're inevitably going to work together or against, but always in the same context as the other characters. So we really try to avoid nowadays the certain type of really like loner type characters, because I think that loner type characters they're always a problem.
They're boring.
Yeah, because they don't really. Of course, you can do a great loner, but if you don't have any really, you have to have reasons to just kind of meet people, do something, strive for something. So we try to build groups that have a common goal, or at least support each other's and everything, so that when you miss someone, it's not like someone drops the ball. It's just that it gets handed to a different player, and you can also much easier letting a new player just kind of, this is the ball, that's the basket where it's going, just kind of help us along. So it kind of eases up the daily play life of adults, as you say.
Because like Andreas, when you joined the vampire session, we tried to give you a connection to the group, right? You were supposed to have tried to kill Linda's sire. Yeah, and that went
I fucked up.
Yeah, but you still had a reason to hang around with the players.
It was
right?
like, well, Gus's character.
Oh, yeah, you two
like,
knew each
we
other
were
as
war
well.
buddies, or
yeah,
like
old war buddies, yeah.
quest buddies, or what you want to call
Something
it.
like that, yeah.
It wasn't like hard to get in a group, but it depends on the person.
Yeah.
Because if you guys were like strange and you and I just met them, do you like roleplaying? Yeah, then join our group.
Yeah.
And that would be a totally different
yeah.
situation.
Trustworthy.
Yes.
Come and join us. Join our cause.
Yeah, exactly. I think we've talked about age quite a bit on this podcast. It's already 4th episode. But I think when you grow older as well, you kind of learn to give, right? Or when you mature, not older necessarily, but when you mature, you're able to be like, okay, I'll make this work, right? I'll cooperate with the group and, don't cause a bunch of fuss. Because we had a long history playing World of Darkness, me and Martin. We had some people in our group who really enjoyed playing loners.
And it just turns out that people who play a character who just want to be with themselves and don't trust anyone, they just play being by themselves, not trusting anyone.
They're left alone. Yeah.
So we the rest of us just kind of went along and played anyway. So, but nowadays I just years ago I had this kind of utopian picture that this time everyone is going to be so into this campaign that no one is going to miss any of the sessions. Nowadays I know.
And then I joined.
Yes, you joined. No, but I mean, so nowadays I know that it's always going to miss people, and we're always going to, almost always there's someone going to die. So already from the beginning.
In the game.
In the game. In the game. Kind of build a surrounding of the group, so we already from the beginning have a good way to put in new characters or just meet new characters or anything. So it's not. It's especially important, I would say, for intrigue-based or paranoia-based games, because having a Call of Cthulhu campaign and introducing new characters that's a nightmare.
Yeah. No one's gonna trust that person. Yeah.
Yeah, it's because like you're all like paranoid and slightly crazy, and then it comes another kind of
who's not as paranoid or crazy yet,
and you're like,
what's wrong with you?
Yeah. So it's not really gonna work unless you kind of build in a back door to get it to work.
Yes.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard, definitely. But there's a lot of tools out there to help you with character creation. A lot of games, actually, like we talked about previously with Eon, you can roll your personality. Andreas, have you played Eon?
Yes.
Oh yeah, you've played it.
Yeah.
Then you're familiar with the personality rolls.
Yes.
You seem a little.
No, but it's like the character creation Eon. It's like a maze.
Oh yeah. It is the Swedish equivalent to Rollmaster, right? Have you played?
No.
No. It has charts for birth complications.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
That's Rollmaster.
Oh God.
Yeah. But what do you think about when you roll your personality? Do you think that's a good thing?
I think it's like if you can choose for yourself, it can be like the same as some other character, or it can also be if you roll the chart, but it gets more versatility. You can be like a ranger who is limping, druid who is blind, or personality like you're shy but a warrior, and like that. That contrast.
It opens up.
It opens up for possibilities.
Yeah.
And contrast.
Instant drama.
Instant drama.
Yeah,
Like,
exactly. You play a very angry character. The stats says I'm angry. I'm supposed to be angry, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think because it's generally, I think it's a problem trying to kind of step out. You generally get like a type, like 2 or 3 of types of characters that you from the beginning enjoy to play. And I think you should never underestimate the joy of actually being your kind of action hero or whatever. Of course, we're doing this for fun, so you shouldn't always be just this complex, extremely realistic and really boring character, because then you could just be yourself.
Yeah. I'm not boring.
But I mean, I think it's very good to just get, as Andreas said, that you could need some mixing up.
Yeah.
Just either use the dice or just pass it to a friend.
Yeah.
I got that when I was making just a ranger kind of character for a Crusades type campaign we had set in the medieval Spain, and then one of my friends gave me leprosy.
Oh,
Which
that's great.
Yeah. Great. Kind of changed the outlook on that character quite a lot.
Yeah. I can imagine.
And it made him extremely interesting.
Yeah.
And it made me. I think as a player, you need to progress. You need to get a challenge, and sometimes I think it's hard for you to just voluntarily step out of your safe zone.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
In the Eon system, I really like when you roll anything on this chart. Mostly because even if I have like an idea of what the person would be, it gets something else. And that spices up the character.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Which makes it, okay, so this will be interesting to see how it rolls out.
Yeah.
And then you can get the weirdest imaginable things, like a rich hobo or like a...
Oh god, Eon has
There's so many
possibilities.
different ways because the system you make your character is so long and in depth.
Yeah.
And I had a character who had 17 siblings, and they had children and other things. So that I made an entire family tree.
Yeah. I think, Martin, you want to bring up an example of another character with a lot of siblings?
yeah, we made for one of my Knights campaigns in Eon. We just made one of those, and he had even more siblings.
Oh.
And he made them, and he named all of them, and like
Named their children.
Yeah, he made a lot of, and then he made like the last roll,
A flaw, yeah.
a flaw. Then he had your entire family was killed in a fire. So he just named
Yeah.
and kind of came up with some quirks for like 50 people who was then burned. He had a problem with fires, that character,
Yes.
after that.
Yeah,
But that-
about that.
That really leads to an interesting storytelling
It
of
definitely
that
does.
character, though.
It definitely does.
I also made like this entire family tree of like siblings, cousins, grandparents, and everything. Everyone hated him. Every single one hated his guts. Why?
I love it.
I don't know. But apparently they hated him for what he was or who he was.
But I think that's what's important with these kind of games like Eon, is that if a player views the system as a maze, something difficult to work with, then it's not fun. So a lot of the rules for Eon, we never play with the combat rules unless we specifically do.
Oh, no.
But the character creation, I personally find, is so rich and inspirational.
But I mean, and there I think really the game master's position comes in to really step in and help the player, and to know the rules and kind of just guide a new player along. And
Yeah.
I also, because I really like the coming together on a physical location and everyone making their character together, because if I don't have very much of inspiration, I can always listen to my friends around the table, talking to each other, talking to the game master, rolling their dice, coming up with new great ideas, scrapping old bad ideas.
Yeah.
It's just a very, very inspirational and creative environment.
Yeah.
And Andreas, for the Changeling campaign that we've been talking about, it's probably started, by the way, when this episode is airing. But on Sunday, when we're meeting, like I said on Facebook, we will probably still be doing character creation. Because I want to make sure that you and Martin, because you're latecomers to the campaign, that you actually get to know the other players' characters before we start. Because I think it's very important. We discussed the topics of Changeling in another podcast. The theme of Changeling is actually abuse and abuse survival. Because you've been kidnapped and you've been beaten and you've been abused and you finally got out of there. And that's a very powerful thing, and it's hard to play sometimes. But I really want to make sure that everyone has a similar experience when we start. So it's not that you come in later and we kind of made a character in 5 minutes. Because that's difficult for you to start with, right?
Yeah, and Christian, I think you really put your finger on a really important note to that the theme of the campaign or the theme of the game has to be mirrored in the character creation process.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna have, for example,
High schoolers?
yeah, sure. Now, I mean, if you take games revolving around horror, there's a lot of them out there. I mainly, except for World of Darkness, I mainly played Call of Cthulhu and Noir and a few others. The old Swedish Cult as well.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
That costs us there.
I think you have to. It's a really good thing to be quite happy and normal when you're supposed to start a horror-based campaign, because if you're already cynic and blasé and have seen all the evil in the world and hates everything, grizzled veteran, what's going to spook you?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, if your world is already dark, how can the game master make it darker? I actually made one of my Call of Cthulhu characters. I actually made him especially happy. I wrote his. The game master actually sent a text back when I sent my character and said, "Your relationship with your wife here that you describe, it seems almost a bit too good." And I just sent back, "Well, that's up to you to destroy, isn't it?" So.
That's a good kind of mentality.
Call of Cthulhu. That's such a marvelous game.
I never played it.
I have played it sometimes. All the characters died though.
Ain't that the way?
Well, that is Call of Cthulhu in a nutshell. People can die.
Don't you get
in an
like
instant.
20 insanity just from seeing Cthulhu's foot?
No, No, maybe it is foot, but you roll a D100 if you see him.
Right, I can assume that's bad.
Yes.
Wow.
Even though the character system, that was what is it now? Basic. It's called a basic role-playing system or something like that.
Yeah, it's based on percent or something.
Yeah,
but I'm not
exactly.
really-
It's a 100-sided die to roll and everything like that.
But there's also really kind of different, because when you make a lot of characters, as we say, you make some characters, you really love them, you come to feel that this is going to be great, and then the campaign just kind of, it goes,
It
shut down.
sinks.
Tits up, yeah.
And then after a while, you can actually get quite frustrated of the character creation process, and you can feel like, oh, I don't want to invest all of that energy once more because I fear that it is not going to get used.
Yeah.
So when we had those kind of problems, we sometimes used more elaborate or special versions of character creation. And I must say that one of my absolute favorites was to design your own apartment for your character.
Oh, I remember that one.
That was really, really good, at least for
It was
that.
Gabriel's, right?
Yeah, it was Gabriel for modern day Paris. So we started with kind of just a very
that thing
simple
went-
concept of your character, and then we started to talk about the apartment. How do you live?
Yeah.
And I just, of course, this kind of sets out that you have a character whose personality is very much mirrored in how they live.
Yeah.
Of course, you could always take the points of say that it doesn't, or it kind of doesn't rhyme at all. But I just went off on a
You just made an apartment.
and I made a bathtub that I loved. And later, Gabriel kind of broke that bathtub, and I was I was upset for real.
It was your bathtub.
Yeah, it was not even just my bathtub. It was my grandmother's marble bathtub. I love that bathtub.
I'm gonna put you a bit in the spot here, Andreas, and I'm gonna ask you about the campaign. What kind of research do you think you'll be doing for your character? Will you be doing any
For
research?
Changeling?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've been trying to read the rules, but I'm just getting confused.
Yeah, you don't have to read rules.
No, but
Don't worry.
I'm been reading like the types of changelings.
Yeah.
And I'm still want to do like a stealthy.
Yeah.
So I'm thinking like darkling or like elemental shadow.
The best part is that in Changeling you could be a beast and be stealthy. You could be an elemental shadow.
Yeah.
It's very open that way. But like we're playing high schoolers who disappeared in 1986 and reappear in 2016. Spoiler. Do you feel like you're gonna be okay in doing that? Like, what kind of challenges do you think there's gonna be?
Not so much challenges because like their mental state will be like mine. They will just be a couple of years older than what I'm right now.
Look at it this way: your character doesn't even know what the internet is.
That's not fun.
Well, that's what's gonna happen.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
They in the modern world, like change forever, and what is a smartphone?
Exactly. You're coming out there like, what is this device with a display
And you
on?
can touch it.
Yeah, that's weird. And everything is so different from 30 years ago. What's Netflix?
Netflix and chill.
Yeah, what is that? What's Netflix? Don't they rent out VHS cassettes? No, I mean, that's kind of a thing that is going to happen. At least
Yeah.
initially. Like, you're like, what kind of world did I just come back to? Do you think that's going to be difficult to play?
No, I don't think so because, well, if I take my dragon LARP character
Yeah.
and like thinking if he was just teleported into the modern world,
Yeah.
what the F is this?
Yeah.
Like, where's the castles and where's the horses and
Yeah.
stuff?
Yeah.
But I think I have like acting background, so like immersing in different characters is not that hard for me.
Okay. So acting is something that helps you out a lot. So you'd say acting, theater, would that help out with character creation?
Like immersing and like thinking like what I'm comfortable with, or if you want to try something that you're not comfortable
Comfort
with.
zones. Yeah,
Comfort zones,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
important.
So I'm thinking about like I don't know what I'm comfortable with, like what my in role playing games.
Yeah.
So I might like do like a jock or like a bookworm because I'm not a like a
Greasy
book-
skater.
yeah, or greasy skater. I'm not any of those those three status quo
Yeah,
types.
yeah.
So I might do one of them just because try something different.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're already out of time. The alarm went off for a little bit ago. So I'm going to ask you guys, do you think there's ever going to be a moment in a role-playing game where you go, nope, no, this is too much for me. This makes me uncomfortable.
Yes, I think it's going to be because I've been in situations where I definitely had a really uneasy feel in my stomach, and we actually had to have a serious talk afterwards, a few of these sessions. So I could just take that and just go a little bit further, and it might be that we just have to break.
Yeah.
So in a way, I look forward to it, but
It's kind of scary. Like at the horizon, you
yeah, but it was it's also very, very profound to get moved in that way.
yeah.
Like a lot more than the cinema or the movies or theater or anything.
Because it's you, right? At
Yeah.
a certain level, it's you, even if you're in another person. Yeah, and Toby, what do you think there's ever going to be a time where you go, nope, I can't do this?
That I do not think I personally can go to that extent. Actually, mostly because I just go with.
You're
whatever.
okay with everything.
Yes, I'm okay with everything.
Wow.
Problem is, I've probably gone too far sometimes.
Yeah.
If I'm describing something, it may be like grotesque or other things. And some people were like, this is a little bit too much, so I had to dampen it down a bit.
Yeah.
But I think the more I know about details, the more important it is for me.
All right.
So for me, I can go along with almost anything. There's no really extent for me to stop.
I'm gonna test you. No, you can definitely handle more than I can. And Andreas, how do you feel?
I don't know. I don't think so right now because no, just take LARP example. Like when my dragon got his red essence destroyed, like last LARP in autumn,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, what the hell is happening now? Am I dead or what now? And I was talking to the chaos elemental that I was living with, like, well, why don't we do him like a purple chaos dragon?
Yeah.
I will talking to the game master, but if you want that, it's fine. That's just immersing, giving you opportunities for the game. And I've heard it many times because many things have happened for me. I was like, you don't say no. You're just playing along with the story and creating new opportunities and new pathways through the story. So if there isn't a hard topic or something really, really hard for me personally, I think I'm fine with anything.
All right. So let's have a hypothetical here. I'm not going to get too bad into things, but let's say your character, stealing a scenario from Martin's campaign here, your character is sent on a mission to, you're a knight working for a family, and for a noble family, and they want you to kill every single person in another family. They want you to kill the kids, they want you to kill the women, the old, the men, the crippled. Everyone has to die. Would you be okay with role-playing that? Or would that feel like, I'm not sure?
Now I was thinking, what are my like stats and what is my alignment and that kind of stuff. But yeah, if I had to, yes.
I mean, that's not the full extent of how terrible a game can be.
No, but
some people have, they might find it hard to play.
Yeah.
Especially in person. Like online, I can imagine LARPing would be very real. Interesting discussion. Very glad you guys wanted to show up. And before we end the episode, I'm gonna give you a bag of sweet rolls.
Oh,
whoa! Yeah,
sweet rolls.
Enjoy some sweet rolls, and thank you very much for coming.
Thank you very much for having me here.
Yeah.
Toby, you don't get any sweet rolls.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
I'll be back.
I'm a part of this show.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And I hope you guys will be back later, other episodes.
Yeah.
This is the last one for this session, so we'll get in touch.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, and bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Keep rolling.
Thank you for listening to Swede Rolls. Your support means the world to us. The music you heard playing at the start and the end of this episode is Fireside Tales by Darren Curtis. The intent of this podcast is to discuss themes and issues in all manner of gaming, but primarily focused on the RPG genre. If you have any comments or feedback, we'd love to hear from you. Pay us a visit at swederolls.wordpress.com, where you can also learn about the people doing this podcast and more. For our Let's Play channel, check us out at youtube.com/Swede_Fighters. And until next time, keep rolling.